Orbs. Who are they? Where are they? What are they? So many questions. Good thing for us. I know an orb whisperer who can help us with the answers. So, welcome to Kim from Intuitiview.
Hi.
So, I'm so glad to welcome Kim from Intuitiview to be with us today because after the last video that I posted, where we had all the orbs show up and so many people commented and had questions, that I figure it's time for us to take a deeper look at what orbs are. And I couldn't think of a better person to help us explain it than Kim from Intuitiview. So, welcome, Kim. Good to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Cindy. I'm really happy to be here.
Well, great, because we're going to pick your brain today. So, can you give just a little bit of background on how you became interested in orbs and what is it that kind of made it something that you wanted to focus on? Because for all of those who know Kim, you already know that she does great readings on orbs and offers orbs classes that'll be coming up this next year. But what is it that was there a specific event or something that led you into the interest for orbs?
Yeah, there was. I used to watch the very beginning, like when they started just doing ghost shows and things. Every once in a while, you'd see an orb and they'd do scary music or something.
Yeah.
You'd be like, oh. And so I was kind of curious about like what that actually is. And then I ended up watching a video about a mother who had lost her son. And she was being filmed. It just seemed like a bunch of just like people that were at her house because it was on a phone. And she was standing in her son's room and she said, son, Billy or whatever, can you come in? And here comes this like white orb and comes straight to her. And then she said, Billy, can you change to pink? You know, pink is my favorite color. Can you change to pink? So in comes this pink orb and comes straight to her. And then she said, Billy, can you go to your guitar? Can you send an orb to your guitar? Or can you go over to your guitar? And here comes this orb floating in and goes straight to his guitar. And I played it, I must have played it 100 times. And I absolutely fascinated. And I just thought, if this is real, this could be so helpful and so amazing for people that are dealing with grief. It could be a great tool for helping people through grief if it's real, right? Because I didn't even know at the time. I'm just like, is this made up? What is going on? What is this? And so that's how it started for me. And then I just wanted to like find out for myself, is this real? What is it? How far can communication go? And that kind of thing.
So, was there any specific orbs or experiences that you had that you were like, okay, this is, first of all, this is for real. Second of all, this is so impactful that I want to start sharing it with the world and sharing it with, your classes. Do you have any specific, I don't know, orbs that stand out to you?
Well, yeah. So first of all, I should tell people that orbs are basically little pieces of spirit energy. That's what it is. And at first, I thought that the spirit of the animal or the person was that thing. So like Billy, when he came in, that was Billy coming in that form. That's like the form they could travel in this atmosphere. But that changed for me with one experience I had with my dad. But um, so that when I first started calling in orbs, they came in right away. And one of the first ways that I started to communicate with them was through the ring camera. And my husband I told him I was doing this.
Hmm.
So I wanted to put a ring camera in the family room because they'd be flying through every so often. And so one of the first times that I called out to them, my husband's sitting there, it's on my channel. You can look it on my channel. But I ask if they want to play high five. And I put my hand, and the camera's kind of behind me. And you see me put my hand up like this. It's all silent because it's the Ring camera. But I put my hand up, and it was almost as if in my mind's eye, I could see them lining up. And then all of a sudden, you see them just going like right over my hand, one after the other. And that's when I realized that they can hear you. You can communicate with them. So what I saw with the woman on the video is like, okay, this is real. This is real. And so my dad is on the other side. He's, in spirit, but he always comes in as a blue orb. He'll send in a blue orb to show that it's him, to say hi. And I was working with him one night and he was sending me orbs, and which is something I just got in the habit of doing. To Has dad come in and send me orbs. And like I said, I was under the impression that the orb was him, was his spirit coming in. Then all of a sudden, because of the way the light was, and I was kind of facing my kitchen. I was standing in the living room facing my kitchen, and behind where my dad was standing was a window. And for whatever reason, I could see his silhouette. I could see him standing there.
Wow.
And I was like, I was stunned. And I said out loud, Dad, I can see you. And then I just said, send me an orb. And he put his hands in front of him like this and put them together. It went like this really fast, and an orb shot out. And that's when I realized, oh, people are standing there. The spirit is standing there sending these out, like blowing a kiss. They're sending out a piece of their energy that they're deliberately sending out to you. And that's what it is. It's that little, they almost look like when you see them with your naked eye, um, they look like little sparks. And that's what they actually look like. But then the camera and the light on the camera illuminates them. So they're big, so you can see them.
Okay.
And so, yeah, so that one stands out a bit because it completely changed what I thought. Now, animals, it could be. That's how they travel. And, spirit guides, angels, things like that could be traveling in that form. I haven't had any kind of clarifying experience like that. But that's what I know about spirits. And that's when I started to start thinking about how this could be useful for grief and how it could be used as a form of mediumship. It started those wheels turning about that.
Yeah. Well, that's the interesting part is when you said your dad was standing behind and throwing you the orb. I have been under the impression that the orb is the individual, but so you're saying it's just a spiritual, let's say, hug sent your way or a little piece of,
It's like
wow,
they're blowing you. I would say like it's like they're
yes.
blowing you an energetic kiss. It
Yeah.
really is. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So that's something new that I learned today.
Mhm.
So are there different types of orbs? In other words, something that could be thought of as an orb is really a different energy altogether because in the video that I did, there was three of them that show up and each of them looked different. One flew up from this painting while I was recording. It just went whew, straight up and it looked more like like a traditional. But then one it was kind of a wispy thing. And then there was another one that a lot of people weighed in and said, that looks like it has wings. Is
Mhm.
there, what is that?
Well, so first of all, when you deal with orbs, when they come in around for you or around something you're doing, they're very personal. And so the most accurate explanation of who it is or what it is would come from the individual. I could look at it and say it kind of looks like that because there are the ways that they look or the ways they'll come in or things that I recognize now because I've been doing this so long. But the best way when you're doing a session for yourself or like your experience, the best thing you can do and the accurate read on it that you can get is to just go with your instinct. you keep saying it had wings. It was probably an angel, right?
Yeah.
That's really what you
Yeah.
want to say, right?
We
I
got
think that was an angel. It had wings, right? So just being able to be in touch with what your instinct is, right? And a lot of that is I'm afraid to say it out loud. I was just talking about Beethoven and in came this orb. I don't want to say that's Beethoven, but it's telling you like that's what it is. So
Yeah.
and you have to remember too, in dealing with all of this, that we're all one, right? So if you have a connection to an artist or you have a connection to a certain spirit or a certain archangel, they will come in. They will come in. And so you have to use your instinct, get past your ego about like, why would they come in and see me? I don't have any personal connection. They don't know me or I'm not important enough. Get past all of that and just go with your instinct because you're 99% of the time you just don't want to say it, but you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Good advice there because I think and we all have that. No, not for me. It's not, this orb's not for me. I'm not an orb whisperer. Why would they be here? But clearly they are. And I think it's really interesting. Why is it like the cameras and like not only the cameras when we're filming here, but our phones. I know a lot of times using the cell phone, you can pick it up better. Is there something about it slows down the movement, or what is it that actually makes it more visible?
It's just the light. It's the
The way
light.
light
The
is? Yeah,
light on the camera illuminates it. Because if you film them with just your camera without the light on, you you might pick something up but it's the light. It's the light making it big enough for us to see, basically. Because like it's a spark, so it has a shine to it. And then when the light on the phone hits it, or you use the night vision, like the Ring camera and that kind of thing, like in the dark, and it puts on the night vision, it illuminates it so that you can see it. It's, when we talk about the veil getting thinner, it's all kinds of ways. It's not just that the veil's disappearing. It's not that. It's that our acceleration in technology is going to make the veil thinner,
yeah,
and us moving up in vibration and things like that. But it's going to be lots of things making the veil thinner. And this is one of the ways that the veil is getting thinner is our technology is such that we have these, night vision and that it's all over the place now. It used to be that only the military had night vision. Why would we need it? But
right.
now it's all over. It's everybody. So people are picking up stuff right and left
Yeah,
they're not hiding from us.
I know. It was interesting in the
They're
comments.
there, but
Yeah,
it's just us being, either developing our own skills to get sensitive enough to sense them and know they're there and use our third eye, or using this technology to bring them in.
right. Now, for the skeptics in the room, there is a theory that there are no orbs. It's just camera dust. So, how can you, when you're looking at something, and sometimes there really is like a dust particle or something. What differentiates a dust particle from an orb or seeing spirit on film or on a camera?
Well, and usually, especially for skeptics, is the way that I have, and for me, it's been years. So that's why I kind of laugh because it's like, no, it's so obvious to me. It's not. But, um, but I do this work. I conduct this work like science experiments. I'll repeat things over and over again. So if an orb comes, if I ask like my dad to come in, he always comes in as a blue orb. So from now, that's been repeated over and over and over again. That's not dust, right? Dust doesn't respond to your requests and respond to your commands. And what dust usually looks like is it is usually like if you sit down, you'll see a bunch of dust rise and then fall. It has a very um, particular movement that's very limited. With orbs that are sent out, they have a direction. They will come straight. And I usually say, come straight to the camera. That's usually my ability. What I have found is the best and quickest way to determine what is dust and what is not. I never also, there's one orb whisperer who's a fabulous. Her name is Terry Chapman, and she has a channel on YouTube, and it's amazing. But she does a lot of things outside. I never do anything outside. I don't want any, but I don't want it. I want as little interference as possible. But even then, when she's outside, you can see the difference. When, and usually with hers, there's a lot of color. So you'll have these bright blue or pink or, and they'll just stay right in front of the camera. They'll just dwell there, and then kind of move out of the way. They just don't. And as you do this too, you'll see that dust and particles, things like that, just don't have the same movement. They don't respond. It's just not the same at all. Um, Even the way that they like color and things like that, it just isn't the same. And all I can say is just do it for yourself. And my husband had that same. I always hand him my footage and say, "What do you think about this?" Because he's very much a skeptic. And so I one night I was using just like a movie camera with the night vision on.
Mhm.
I was talking and they were coming in, and he was looking at it and he said, "Isn't it just dust?" And I said, "Well, tell him to come towards you." And so he said, "Come towards me." And they all just barreled right to him. And he dropped the camera. Yeah, he's like, "Okay, okay, I'm done."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're right. Just always go with you're right.
So
Yeah,
yeah, so those are the answers I would give. And
yeah.
to me, it's so obvious it's not dust, but it doesn't mean you won't catch dust sometimes or things like that.
Right, right. The movement. What
Yeah.
caught my eye on the ones that I recently saw is that it was, and dust doesn't go change direction and go another. It was just,
Yeah,
yeah, there's a movement to it.
exactly.
So I want to invite you to join us in trying to record orbs for yourself. Follow along with the instructions that Kim's going to give, and then send me what you receive, and I will make a video with all of our orbs. It should be a lot of fun. Yeah. So if somebody wanted to try this on their phone, do they just like put their phone on night? How would they do it to,
Yeah. So what you would do is you go to the little camera thing like that. So you've got the little camera thing right
okay.
in the
Okay.
camera. And then you would go to video.
Okay.
You're on that.
Yeah. Got it.
And then you turn your phone to the side,
Mm-hmm.
and not on the side with the red button, but the other side, you've got a little tiny arrow. Just push that. You see that? Um,
Let's see. Show one more time.
it's right over here, this little arrow right here,
Okay.
like the
Yeah.
top by the top of the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Press that, and then it will give you this little thing here that's like a little zigzag. It looks like a
Yeah.
little lightning bolt. You
Mm-hmm.
hit that,
Okay.
and you want to put on, and
That's
it will have and then your camera light will go on.
okay.
And you can do it in the daytime or the nighttime. Um, but as long as your light is on, you'll be picking things up.
Okay.
Um, and
Well,
then you
good.
record. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's really it.
And
And
you do it at night usually, yeah?
yeah, I usually do it at night, and I usually make sure that everything's dark except the camera light. That's usually when you can get the best results, is in a completely dark room except for your camera. Your camera light is on, just like that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So everybody's got homework if they want to try it.
Mhm.
So, okay. So share with us, if you would, some of your most interesting orbs or images that you've caught.
Okay, well, and I don't know if these are the most interesting, but they're ones that I use in my class, and I just think I think they're representative of some of
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Share
some
with us.
Because I have so, I mean, I have
You have hundreds, I'm sure.
hundreds of films and stuff, but I use these because I think they're really just very interesting. So I'm
You
gonna,
know, that would make a great calendar. An orb for every
oh
month.
yeah,
Yeah.
I love that. And I actually have one that has to do with you. So
Oh, okay, awesome.
I'll show you that as well. Um, so the first thing I want to show is just a quick movie, if it's okay. It's only
Yeah,
about
go ahead.
a couple
Please do.
seconds long.
Yeah, go for it.
Happened was I was in my room here. It's right against this closet over here, and I was asking Orbs to come in, and I wasn't getting anything. It was just quiet, which is that happens. It happens a lot. In fact, everything's just quiet. Um, and I was asking, how do I get Orbs to come in? And I heard in my mind's ear, make energy. And the only thing that came to mind was what I saw my dad do, which was to go like that. So I did that. And I just want to show you what happened. So, and it was just them basically playing with me. They play. They like to have fun. It's a very joyful form of communication. So, okay, can you see that?
Yeah, looks good.
Okay. I'm listening to music as well. Do you see that?
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, so it just came right out of my hands. And they were and it was like kind of a rainbowish color. So they were
Uh-huh.
just basically teaching me, showing me this is how you do it. This is how we did it. Um, so let me go to this one that I did. Um, so this was right after my mom had passed away.
Hmm.
And I was just talking to her and saying, can you come in and just say hi and come in as an orb? I've got my phone on, or send in an orb. And can you see this area right here
Yeah, I see where you're
around the yeah, the bottom of the
the
stairs
stairwell.
here?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then so there's that, and then when she comes in, it looks like that. Can you see her
Oh,
standing?
wow. Yeah.
So and this orb came down the stairs, and I got this picture. And what's interesting about this, so you can see like her shoulders and
I
like
know, it's like the upper body almost, huh?
yeah, and then her
Yeah.
head here. What's very interesting about this is that when I showed it to my family, because I said I got a picture of mom, and I must have shown it to maybe 12, 15 members of the family. We have a big family.
Uh-huh.
And every single one of them said, I know that picture. It's so often when orbs come in and you get a face in them, or they have something like this, it will be a picture that you recognize. It will be a picture that you have of them. And I have no idea why that is, but it's happened so many times now that I don't know if it's just making sure that you recognize that it's
Yeah.
them
Yeah.
or what. But but that's what happened. So that was one of my mom. And then this one is my little schmoggy dog, my little Lucy. There's
Oh,
little
Lucy.
Lucy.
Yeah.
And I was so distraught when we lost Lucy.
Yeah.
Um, and she came in a couple days later. I don't know if you can see her little
Mm.
face here, but it's like a profile. And you can see her little
Oh,
nosy
yes.
here, her little eye here. Can you see it?
Oh my gosh. Yes. Can you make that even? I mean, I can see it. I'm hoping that it translates on the video. Make it bigger if you can. Yes, I see her eye and her.
Even her little ear there, how it
Oh
folds
my gosh, that's
forward.
amazing.
And it really, and I don't have a picture of what the orb look. I mean, that it was just an orb that was like it was sitting on the carpet behind me.
Hmm.
Because there was used to be a lighter colored carpet, and she would always sit there. And so it almost like looked like her like sitting in the carpet. It's like the orb just kind of went through the carpet, and I happened to catch it. And once again, when I got that, I thought, am I going crazy? This is Lucy. And I, without saying anything to my husband, I handed him the phone and I said, what do you see? And he did just what you did. He just went, oh, that's Lucy. Oh my gosh, what is that? So there's that. So anyway, um, and then I talk about too how, they use color to they use color and sacred geometry also to communicate. And I always talk about the fact that color is never an accident. So if they're coming in a color, there's a reason why. And I want to show you this. So you and I did
Yeah.
a St. Patrick's Day thing together.
Yes. Uh-huh.
And I was feeling a little anxious about it because I was in the UK at the time.
Right.
And it was a kind of like, and I just kind of said, I turn on my phone and I do this often with everything. Is it going to be okay? What do you guys think? And in came this bright green, and it was a St. Patrick's Day, I should say. It was St.
Yeah.
Patrick's Day thing. In came this bright green orb. And once again, right, that sense of fun, like that sense of it's going to be great, and there
And
is
look at the time. 1:11 and 11:11.
exactly that's another exactly what I was going to say is that notice the details because nothing is nothing is accidental. Nothing is by accident. That's why I kept that because exactly it's 11:11 and so talk about validation, right? Yeah, everything's going to be great. And it was great. It was such a fun show. So, and then this one was a asking about if a person's pet had gotten to the other side. And it came in this kind of sweeping, like rainbow colored orb. And of course, she was like, oh, I always talk about the rainbow bridge. And, you know, it's not an accident when they come in with color. And then this is kind of a combination of color and also sacred geometry.
Hmm.
They'll cling together in different formations or come in different shapes to further the communication, right? So there's
Is that two energies there, or is that
it's a it's two uh it's I guess it's two I would say it's two orbs like locked together,
yeah?
but it's on purpose. It's purposeful to get a message across, right? To get a to communicate further or to communicate something else. And it has to do with this, with the seeds of life, right? So this is how they're using it, right? And this is not like I figured this out overnight. I actually saw Terry Chapman do a video about a video I had done, and she explained all of this because she's been doing this for years.
Uh-huh.
And she's a photographer, so she actually does it for the photography to get some beautiful pictures. But she's amazing.
Yeah, I've seen some of her
And
work. It's really beautiful.
yeah,
Yeah.
and so and then there's these, explanations or these things here, and um, I've gotten the three a lot with different when I've done mediumship, and that's really when the sacred geometry started to come in more regularly was when I was doing the mediumship. And the three is about interconnectedness, infinity. Um, you know, they have other things they want to say and other ways they want to say it. And again, it's never an accident. It's always on purpose. So this is just an example of how elaborate, right, they can get. Um, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think this is like seven.
Wow.
But this is how, but it's, and they move very differently. With the sacred geometry, um, there is a difference in the movement, and it usually is it floats in and usually stays right in front of the camera and just stays there so that it's like
Going off.
you're not going to miss this,
Yeah.
but anything with sacred geometry, anything with color, it's on purpose. There's a reason for it. And again, it can be very personal. Like I said, blue can mean one thing for one person, for me, it's always my dad, right? But I used to get pink a lot when I was doing the mediumship for mothers and the love of mothers. So it would come for people's mothers and also from people's mothers. And it was always that pink. And I would let them know pink when I usually get this in these sessions, it means a mother's love, it means compassion, that kind of thing. So
That's neat. So it's almost like they understand your patterns. I mean, do you feel like it's like a connection where they know, oh, she knows pink is going to be this, or that's
and it
amazing.
will be the same for any individual if they're making a connection, if they think, yellow comes in and for some reason they just feel this burst of joy from then on, yellow will mean joy and they'll know that yellow means joy. So it's a vocabulary you build just like when you're a reader and you build a vocabulary with your guides or with the other side. It's the same kind of thing. You're building your vocabulary and it's very personal.
Now, is there certain environments that you'll see, like if you go to a graveyard at midnight, are you going to see more orbs there than you would in the living room on a Wednesday night, or is that really not location's not as important as it is intention? What have
Yeah.
you found?
Yeah, you got it. Intention and fear as well. So before you start, make sure that you have a clear intention, and that just helps them serve you better. It helps them to serve you in a way that you would like and to help you in whatever you're trying to do. Um, and to make sure that you're not afraid, because uh, it can be very shocking to have something in your home that is visual like that and coming straight for you or coming right I have never in all of my years in doing this, I have never had a negative connection. I've had ones that have surprised me or made me jump.
Yeah.
I can always feel this sense of joy and fun. And so,
Yeah,
that,
that's how I felt with the other day when they were
yeah.
in my video. It was like they were playing. Everybody said it
Yeah,
felt really playful. The comments were like, "Oh, they're playing. They're showing. Look at them showing.
yeah, yeah. They're showing
They're
off. They're showing
showing
what
up."
they can do. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So that's really the most important thing. And even if you want to connect with, and the other thing too, I just want to let people know if they're curious about this, is that you can't offend the other side, especially when you're trying to understand something or you're exploring something that's new and you're just excited about it. I went through a whole period, like I said, I treated these like experiments. So I would just see what would happen or what happens if I do this or that. And they would respond, so well to everything. And I knew that they were just trying to help me understand.
Mhm.
And so I use trigger objects. I went through a period of connecting with having famous people send in their orbs. So I had, and I would use their birth date or their transition date. I would use their picture. If they were like a writer, I'd use their book. I usually set up a candle and have like kind of a little station set up, and I would ask them to come in and just say hello. And I would say I can't think of a time it didn't happen, but I'm sure there were times it didn't happen, but they would come in and I would say, go straight to the station, go straight to your book or go straight to your picture. And they would. So you can have these connections, especially when you feel a connection with a certain artist or things like that. They love it. They love it. They want us to, they're not, like I said, they're not hiding from us. They want to connect. They
They're
want,
flattered, maybe, huh? Yeah.
yeah, I think they just love it. I think that we're all family, right? So if you're
Yeah.
saying, hey, come in and see me, this person, I would love to meet you. I'd love to see you. It's exciting. It's fun. Um, you can use music as well as a trigger. So putting on your favorite music or happy music or music you're really connected to. If you love classical music, I had one woman who she was just not having any success bringing in orbs, and she realized she was a little tense about it or worried about it. So she put on Mozart. She loves music.
Hmm.
He just said, come in, you come dance to the music or something like that. And here they all came. Um,
That was so funny because that's what I had called renamed at the beginning of the video. I said it was like Orb Dance Party 2025 because it felt like
yeah.
yeah, I did. It did. Well, I have a question for you that this is a little maybe in a topic that's adjacent to this, and that is EVPs, which is electronic voice phenomenon, where sometimes I've done videos in the past where you can hear like a whoosh or a voice or a is that a different way that they're trying to communicate? Is that completely separate from it? Is it related? Is that something that you know much about?
I don't know a whole lot about EVPs, but I know that, I would say that's just another way the veil is thinning. Some people they enjoy visuals. Some people are very connected to sound. And I think it depends on, I just heard vibration too. So I think it has to do with vibration and maybe how they're able to get things across at that particular time. Um, so it sounds like with what they're saying to me right now is that EVPs have more to do with vibration and that you know uh, orbs have more to do with a type of energy. So that's what they're saying is that's what I can hear is the difference.
Yeah.
But it's too far, but it's still just a way of them making themselves known, a way that the veil is thinning. They're using our technology, and yeah, that's it.
Yeah. I imagine there'll be a day where it'll be like, oh yeah, that was it won't be as mysterious or unusual. People will be like, oh yeah, I just had a few orbs, or oh yeah, that was the EVP, or what, and being more connected with it, like, yeah, that EVP, I think it was so and so, or that orb I know is so and so, or that'll, I
I
think,
do envision a day when our technology gets, because that is partly what's happening too, is that spirituality is starting to merge with science, right? Or getting all the quantum stuff's coming in. Respected scientists are now looking at the quantum field and consciousness and stuff because it's happening. And so as they become more merged, I do envision a day where it's like, I'm going to use the spirit phone to talk to grandma today and see how she's doing. Is it's all energy and vibration. And the more we move into these fields and accept them and are able to understand them and then use them in devices and things that we have that we can actually create and make. I do vision a day when that could be happening. It may be the same day when we're all more telepathic and we're all, kind of a
right.
higher vibrational species and stuff, so it may not even matter that much, but I do feel like that could happen.
That would be amazing. Just yeah, to be able to have that direct communication, and then of course there's less fear of death with that too.
Yeah,
Less,
exactly. And I think this
yeah,
is what all this is about. I really
yeah,
do feel like that being able to see orbs and being able to, know that they're and that's how when you're not haven't fully developed your gifts or you haven't developed them at all. Maybe you're very, very in the five senses, and that's where you are. This is something that anybody can do. It doesn't matter where you are with your abilities. And so, but yeah,
yeah.
as we all get more sensitive and stuff, it will be, yeah, it will be, uh, it's something you can do even when you haven't worked on your abilities or you're unsure of them. You're not sure. It's something that can give you that. Yes, there is something else. Yes, people go on, animals go on. Everything's fine. I think part of the reason this is even possible now is because we need to stop fearing death and we need to stop fearing the other side. When you don't fear death, you live differently. You live with more joy, more less and less fear, period. I feel like we're moving out of the fear energies, period. But that's a big one. If we can get past our fear of death and dying and all those things and know that everything is okay and that we don't die, our physical form can't last forever, but our spirit is eternal. It doesn't, there's no beginning, no end. It just is.
Well, This has been very enlightening and I really appreciate. Is there anything that I missed that you want to share?
I don't think so. I think just, the only thing I would just say is to when it comes to intention, be very honest about it. I just want to know that my grandpa's okay. I just want to know my grandma's okay. I just want to connect with, I'd like to connect with, my favorite writer. I think it'd be awesome to do that. I just want to see an orb. Whatever it is, be very honest about it because it will help them serve you in the way that you would like to be served. Or I want something, I would like to see something, but I want it to be, beautiful and not scary. It's just
Yeah,
scary
yeah,
or whatever, put that in there so that you can be open and comfortable. And, but I would say, but with that, a caveat with that is don't set an agenda, which is if my grandma doesn't come in, I'm not going to believe this is real. Or if she doesn't come in as a green orb, I'm not going to believe. There are, uh, as spirits, as you connect with, say you're bringing in your grandmother, right? As you bring in your grandmother over and over again, your grandmother will get better at sending in orbs. This isn't something that they just automatically know how to do. They learn. So they'll get better at it and they'll start sending more and they'll start getting color and but at first it will be very zippy and very fast and not very controlled. And as you work with them, it'll get more controlled, a little slower. I always say to go slow and come straight towards me.
go
And
slow.
that usually
Okay.
tells me that's how you can differentiate anything else in the room with who you're trying to connect with. And
That's
so
good
that's all I
advice.
would say. Yeah, that's all I would say about that.
Yeah, because I'm gonna be trying that with my dog that recently passed away, and I tried the other night and it didn't work, and I thought, okay, there is probably a learning curve on the other side too, right? Of how do I show myself, or and I thought I'm not giving up. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna try again, and just I guess a little bit of a patience factor, and there's also I think that just
Yeah.
if they want to come through, I think
Yeah.
sometimes you wondered if they're busy and they're like. Oh, maybe tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah. And they will eventually come through and
Yeah.
don't get discouraged if it's quiet. Just you know, say thank you. I'm closing this session. Thank you. And I'll be back in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes them a little bit to get organized as well. Um, I, yeah, be patient and give it time. If you ask a question, give it like a minute or two for them to respond. Especially if they're planning something elaborate, like a color or something like that, it'll take a little longer for them to kind of get whatever they're doing, they get the energy to where it needs to be, but there are usually more than one spirit there in the room. They're all helping and assisting. And so, and also, I forgot to say, which is very like a practical thing, but make sure there's no fans on, no heaters, no nothing. Everything has to be completely still. And just know that sometimes, yeah, that there might be a reason why nobody's showing up. It's okay. Just say, okay, I'm closing this session. I'll be back in 30 minutes, or I'll be back tomorrow. And then in that time, they'll get their act together.
Yeah.
They'll
Or
figure it out.
or you'll
More.
have a full house like I had. Like I'm like, there's so many here. What's going on? Is there a party I was unaware of? It's like,
I mean,
yeah.
yeah, exactly. When I was doing mediumship, people would get to ask three yes or no questions that they wanted to ask. And it would take me up to a week sometimes because I'm connecting with bringing in the same spirit and asking them to do a very specific thing. And so you just have to be very patient um, and sometimes something will come in right away and then you won't have something for a little while. Don't think they abandoned you. Don't take it personally ever. It's never personal. It's usually the conditions sometimes it's conditions outside. Even I feel like when it's too damp or stormy or whatever, I won't get anything for whatever reason. And I don't know why. I don't really think about it anymore. I just think, okay, nothing's happening tonight. I'll come, do it tomorrow night. So don't take it personally. If you get lots and then you get nothing, it doesn't matter. It's fine. They're hearing you. They'll come in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, great. Well, thank you so much. And for everybody watching, if you want to learn more about Orbs and take Kim's classes, they're going to email you for the classes coming up in the next year?
Yeah, if
Okay.
you're, I'm not doing a class in the or for orbs right now, but I'll be repeating it next year at some point. So if
Okay.
you're interested in getting on the list to be notified when I do, just send me an email and just say orb class and yeah.
Yeah, and I'll put the just your information in the description box, but it's Kim at Intuitiview, and I've taken classes from Kim before. They're great. I highly recommend them. So um, just go ahead and reach out to her. Anyway, so thank you so much for hanging out, and it was good to spend time together. And look forward to seeing you on your channel.
Thank you so much, Cindy. I loved it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all for watching this video. I hope you learned a lot. I hope you will send in your footage of the orbs that you capture. Remember, be patient and give it a little bit of time, and I would love to see the images that you get. Maybe we can do something fun with them in a video in the future. I also want to say happiest of holidays to all of you, whatever you celebrate. I hope that it brings you joy and a nice little break from our regular routine to just relax and spend some time together. Also, if you haven't seen my new predictions video, there are orbs in the beginning of that and some really interesting predictions for 2026. So enjoy the rest of your holidays, and I look forward to seeing you in 2026. Bye now.